Thank you very much, Godfrey. We're very pleased to be joined this morning by the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employees Confederation. We have the chair of the BCCEC WTO Working Group back with us once again, Mr. Darren Pickstock, and he has brought some very distinguished colleagues with him. We have Dr. Timon Stuart, International Trade Policy Analyst at Oxford Economics, and Mr. Ramesh Chaitu, who I would have met at my days at the Chamber of Commerce, Darren, some time ago. He's a trade policy advisor also with Oxford Economics. This morning we are talking WTO, that is the World Trade Organization. The Chamber is hosting a symposium tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, tell us about it, Dan.
We are hosting a trade symposium, a WTO symposium tomorrow. Starts at 8 in the morning and to 10.
Okay.
And we are going to be talking everything WTO. It'll take the form of a panel discussion.
Okay.
On the panel we have the government's lead negotiator, Shivago Lang. We will also have Ryan Pinder, Dr. Timon Stewart, and Mr. Ramesh Chaitu will also be on the panel, along with myself. Okay,
I mean, it's an interesting conversation. Dr. Stewart, the Bahamas is now just fervently getting into it. I know this is something that we would have presented, many, many years ago, but we're at the point, we're at the crossing point now. And people are paying attention, and there are some that agree with it, and some that don't. What do you say about joining the WTO? Is this a necessary thing for the Bahamas?
Well, we are engaged to inquire into exactly that question.
Okay.
So we cannot preempt an answer, and we are engaged into doing some very important empirical work to study the economy of the Bahamas and look at what are the implications for all the possible reductions in tariffs and other changes that might be made, and to also look at all the legislative and regulatory framework and see what may be required. But it's not that we are looking to see that you should remove this or should remove that, but what are the consequences if you do so.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Ramesh, you've been in this for a very long time also. I remember conversations way back in the day with another acronym called the FTAA, Free Trade of the Americas.
That one died, by the way.
That one died. That one died. But let's speak to that just a little bit. I mean, these agreements obviously, set obviously the global standards. What makes trade agreements so important that countries, even as small as ours, have to pay attention to that?
There are various reasons. The predominant one is that if you're an internationalized economy like the Bahamas, it's difficult when you're not in this regime by which all other countries play, and that perhaps might be the most important factor here. If you also, when you're a small economy, and you tend to rely more on trade for your business, for your bread and butter basically. So the national rules that apply to all kinds of commercial transactions and national business, they tend to be relevant to you. And the problem is when you're outside this club, other people make the rules.
Right.
So that's the main reason why it is critical for, that's why some countries you think are very tiny and what's the relevant to them, they're all in there for basically the same reason.
Yeah.
If I might add to that, is that you actually would end up in a bilateral negotiation if you're outside of the club.
Right.
Whereas if you're in the club, there are the rules that are set and you have the backing of other countries, and a multilateral negotiation and not bilateral.
I know we've seen, in globalization, things that drive this trade agreements and technology, the rest of that stuff. And it seems as though some of the larger countries, you're hearing about Brexit, you hear about the pronouncements from President Trump. It seems as though they're pulling back more into an isolationist type of position. Is that something that we should be concerned about, even right here in the Bahamas?
Yes and no, it depends.
Okay.
It depends on if it's a continuous, sustained kind of attitude, because I will still call it an attitude, and I think it may disappear when personalities disappear.
Okay.
But intellectually, we should be worried if the world is going back into sort of bipolar and bilateral type arrangements, because the power element in bilaterals would wipe you off. And that's the problem. There is safety in multilateral arrangements and common rules that everybody play by.
Okay.
So the trend that you're talking about now is disturbing from all angles.
All right, all right.
And just to say, the Chamber has engaged Oxford Economics to undertake a comprehensive review of our economy. and a part of that, they will be assessing the possible impacts and implications of the Bahamas becoming a member of the World Trade Organization.
Right.
And because of the public discourse, you know, the Chamber thought it critical to get a basis and analysis on what it is we are going to be possibly joining.
Right, right. Truth and facts.
And
Yes.
to add to that, that while Oxford Economics is a UK consultancy firm, Ramesh and I are Caribbean people,
Yes.
very familiar with the Bahamian economy and Bahamian people. So we bring to it an understanding that you wouldn't have gotten if it was
Yeah.
just out there.
Well, absolutely, I can speak to that and endorse, you know, the credentials of both professionals you have. Congratulations, Darren. Tell us once again. So it's tomorrow, the time, the place, whether or not there's a cost.
Yes, it's tomorrow at the Hilton. It begins at 8 a.m.
Okay.
The cost is $75.
Okay.
And you could contact the chamber for tickets. And it goes again from 8 to 10 a.m.
All right. Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome back to the Bahamas.
Thank you.
Looking forward to your work.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.